is Daryl Rembert with Quiet on the Set magazine here at MetroStage, and we're interviewing Carolyn. Carolyn, can you just tell us how MetroStage got started?
Sure. 1984, an artistic director decided she wanted to open a professional theater here in Alexandria. I jumped on board about 5 minutes later. I did not found MetroStage, but I did get involved within minutes, and I've been here ever since 1984. So is that 32 years if my math is correct? We've produced over 90 shows, I think maybe 15 world premieres, and tonight you're here in my office with the copying machine running. I'm getting ready to copy and stuff press packets. This is press night for a world premiere, Shake Loose, on a musical evening of blues moods and icons. The interesting thing about Shake Loose, and it's really kind of emblematic of what we do, Thomas W. Jones II is a writer, director, choreographer, lyricist, book writer, the whole thing. He's the whole package. He's in Atlanta. We've done about a dozen of his shows here over the years. This is a show that is kind of the culmination of everything he's done here. Thematically, he's written a lot of original songs with two composers, both local, William Hubbard and William Knowles. These songs are some, you're going to see them tonight. These are some of the most beautiful songs you'll ever see. Ballads. The interesting about Tom is he jumps all genres. We go from, gospel to bebop to funk to blues to jazz. It's the whole range up to some contemporary hip hop. It's an extraordinary range. It's what we do, and it's what's on the stage tonight. And you'll see here again, this is what we do. 4 of the finest singers. You'll see 5 of the finest musicians. It will blow your socks off because we've had 3 previews now, and audiences are just going wild for it. So it is a really good example of the kind of thing we do here. We do a lot of African American themed pieces. It's what interests me. I love showcasing the talent in this area and beyond. One of the actors on stage tonight is an LA-based actor. He's in a lot of our shows, but to showcase these artists who are just some of the finest performers, singers, vocalists, people out there on my stage telling important stories. What this is tonight, here again, emblematic of what we do, is really telling the whole 20th century story from vaudeville on, race relations, iconic work of the African American artist, all from a bird's eye view from the African American writer in the form of Tom Jones. He gives that perspective. We share it with audiences, both white and African American, and I think it's one of my passions is to bring everybody together to see this work. So we've done Bessie's Blues about Bessie Smith. We've done Three Sisters, where three sisters come together in the 60s for a funeral and, go through all kinds of family things. So it's just a huge range of work, both historically and emotionally, relationship-wise, and you'll see it all tonight on our stage. So that's what we do. That's what you're seeing tonight. So this is kind of a fortuitous time to be being interviewed because it's the culmination of a lot of work. Now, what's also remarkable is, like a lot of theaters, what you're going to see is the 2 hours of the most complete 37 songs, narrative, dialogue, choreography, put together in 3.5 weeks. Our rehearsal schedule is 3.5 weeks. These guys are professionals. They've got to get it and pick it up and do it and make it pop, and that's what you'll see tonight. But I just, as an artistic director, one of the great things about this job is I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. So I choose work that interests me that I think is of value to the audience, to the community, to the greater Washington metro area, and of value to the artists, because what they gain in the work they do, the relationships they build, it's an extraordinary opportunity for everybody. So it's very easy for me to work 24/7 because the results we get are what I think are so important, so valuable to everybody.
And Shake Loose runs from now until
It runs for 6 weeks, so through March 6th, and that's 7 shows a week, Wednesdays through Sundays, 2 matinees, Saturday and Sunday. But our shows generally run 6-8 weeks. This always could extend if we get a great audience, and we've been getting great audiences already. The word is out. People are coming back. They're bringing friends. If you can get them in early, they'll come back and bring friends, and that's the whole, the goal of our marketing. But I think what's interesting to me is nobody else is doing this kind of work consistently on stages in Washington. And we have a following because we do this kind of work. And as I said, I don't think there's anything more important or more valuable than these stories, showcasing these artists and showcasing this kind of talent. Now, what's coming up after this is a play. We always have we generally have a musical this January, February, March time period. Then April, May, we do a play called Black Pearl Sings, which is a really interesting story. It's taken from the real life story of John Lomax, who was a musicologist and researching the origins of music. He found Ledbetter in some prison, and there you go. The folk history was never the same. Folk music. This is a white musicologist from a university who's searching for the origin of some of the slave songs, and she finds Black Pearl in a prison and gets her out of prison, and the rest is history. It's a play. It's the kind of play I love because even if it's a play, it's about music. And so we have an opportunity for traditional songs, gospel songs. There's a whole element of music. So we started out doing plays 32 years ago. We now do almost all musicals, and if they aren't a musical, we make sure they're a play with music. And even plays that we've done that have a smattering of music, we figure out a way to do more music. Add more music. I mean, Gee's Bend was a perfect example of a play we did a few years ago. Tom Jones directed it as well. And it was about the ladies in Gee's Bend, Alabama, who were the quilt makers. And they were discovered in Alabama, in the most rural little fork in the river in Alabama. And their quilts ended up in museums all over the world. And they would sing gospel songs while they quilted. And so the playwright wrote a few gospel songs, or slipped a few gospel songs in. Well, we added 15 more just for good measure, and it became this amazing story, but also this amazing musical. So plays with music are becoming our thing as well. If it's not a full-blown musical, like you'll see tonight with 37 songs representing 9 different plays that Tom Jones has written, and music from just 2 composers, either William Knowles or William Hubbard. We do plays with music. So musicals are plays with music. That's us.
Well, thank you so much, Carolyn Griffin, Artistic Director for MetroStage here in Alexandria, Virginia.
Well, thank you. I appreciate having an opportunity to tell our story, because we're kind of, as you know, because you're sitting here in my office, we're kind of tucked in a little parking lot. You would never know. We're in an old lumber warehouse, so you would never, ever know what went on in here unless you poked your head in the door. So we appreciate you letting the people know out there what we're doing, and
And what's the
I
address
say,
here?
come
at Metro
on down.
Stage?
1201 North Royal Street, and it's called North Old Town Alexandria. So we're right along the river, 5 minutes from Reagan National Airport, right off the GW Parkway, 5 minutes from Wilson Bridge. It's kind of the center of the universe, as far as I'm concerned. A crossroads. Every road leads to MetroStage, or at least leads to our parking lot. So there you go. Thank you.
What is the website address to?
MetroStage.org.
All right.
So come on down to Metro Stage in Alexandria, Virginia, and watch Shake Loose. For Quiet on Set Magazine, this is Daryl Rimber.